Hello and welcome back for another episode of The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's Season 5, Episode 5, and today we've got a massive doubleheader across two competitions with Coleraine. We're playing away to Aberdeen under-20s in the Irn Bru Cup, before we play a top-of-the-table clash against Cliftonville in the Danske Bank Premiership. Since you were last with me, you can see we've managed to build a 5-point lead at the top of the league table. We're still unbeaten, but Cliftonville can close that gap to 2 points if they win their game in hand, and overtake us if they beat us on the 26th at home in the game we're going to see today. Before we look at the results since you were last with me, very quickly we'll go and look at a couple of transfers. The first one's a familiar name, Stephen McStravick. Our director of football's looking at bringing him in January. He was on loan at us at the start of the season, but it got terminated early due to an injury. He's just back from that now, and we're looking to get him in January thanks to our director of football. So he must have obviously made an impression with him in his time at the club. Secondly, we've got David Stevenson from the same club in the second division. I don't know what they're doing with their youth team, but it's working. A left back, David Stevenson at 18, and just look at him, he's absolutely brilliant. He's probably up there with anything we've got at the club now, and I'll be more than happy if our director of football can bring them in. And between them, I think the total transfer fee's £8,000 a week, so he might have pulled off a minor miracle if he gets those two in. And we look like we've got the future of Northern Irish football coming into this club, and I don't know what they're doing, but they have produced a hell of a youth team. I'm going to have to look at their facilities just to see if there's anything unusual going on there. They're only marked as hot prospects. They're not even in the first team. It's ridiculous. We're going to have a look at the facilities to see what they've got. Adequate youth facilities, so you can see it is a step up from the rest, and they've got a very established youth recruitment. That's something you don't often see at smaller clubs, so maybe these are the club we're looking for. What they're doing in the second tier, I don't know. Maybe it's just because they keep giving away their players for nothing. But that's something of interest for the future, to know whether that was there all along, or whether it's something that's developed during this save. But let's go and look at the results since you were last with me. It's the most important thing, what happens on the pitch. We're still unbeaten in all domestic games, just our losses coming in the Europa League and the Champions League qualifying. If we look at our last two games here, they were that cup doubleheader against Maiden City and Hibernian under-20s in the last round of the Irn Bru Cup. Since then we've started banging goals in due to a slight change of tactic, which we'll discuss later on. We beat Larne 6-2 away from home, and McMurray hat-trick and a few others on the score sheet. We had a disappointing draw at home to Glentoran, but Danny Burke again the hero. Before we played 4-3 at home to Glenarvan, McMurray again getting a couple of goals in that one. Before a comfortable 2-0 win away to Ballymena United, Danny Burke again with both goals. A very dull 0-0 draw against current real-life champions Crusaders, who just lost Gavin White to Oxford obviously this summer. Before we went to bottom side Carrick and won 3-0, McStravick getting his only goal for the club there before his loan spell ended. Then we were off to Dungannon. Kevin McMahon was back from injury with a bang, 2 goals for him and McManus alongside him, but unfortunately the centre-half Conor McManus got injured in that game and hasn't played since. We then played Portadown with a 2-0 home win, a repeat of the cup final earlier in the season, McManus getting both of them on that occasion. Before another exciting game against Cliftonville, 5-3 in the Bet McLean Cup. Danny Burke with a hat-trick, including 2 goals late on. We were actually 3-2 down at some stage as they played a 4-3-3, which you know we can't cope with. Danny Burke was the hero again as he got another hat-trick in the following game against Glenarvan in a 4-1 away win alongside McManus. The two of them really coming to the party now. And Burke got a brace again against Dungannon in the last game as McManus also got one in a 4-1 win for the second time in a row. But today we go into much tougher tests against the team at the top of the league who will almost certainly be playing their first 11, and against Aberdeen in the cup, and their under-20s have got some talents in, so we've got to be a bit careful. We've already had the draw for the next round. If we get through, we're playing Dundee United's first team, which is something we'd be really looking forward to. So hopefully we can get to that one and test ourselves against professional opposition. We've still got a few injuries and suspensions all over the place, but we've just about scraped 18 together. We've got Johns in goal, Kane, McKellany, Toll and Conlon at the back. Dooley and Burns as always on the flanks, with Miss Kelly and Harkin in the middle. McManus and Burt, the deadly duo up top. Kevin McMahon's the best striker at the club in terms of star rating, but he can't get in ahead of Danny Burke, who continues to defy his average attributes with fantastic performances, 23 goals in 23 appearances, and when you consider some of those were against bigger teams in Europe as well, he's been absolutely fantastic for us. And I think he might be a youth prospect at the club as well, in terms of a homegrown player. He's had a loan at Warren Point, but was that from us? It was. So he is a homegrown player, and we're going to do everything we can to make him succeed. But let's get into this first one against Aberdeen. It's the important one. We will show you the tactic we changed to, but we're going to go back in this game because we're playing better opposition. So we're going to get them out there to prove a point. We're going to go to our tactics, and we're going to change back to what is pretty much known as our Champions League and Europa League formation, with the disciplined standard mentality. but other than that we'll keep everything the same. We've basically done a bit more what we did at Dover in terms of going a bit more direct during the games, but we've also gone to an attacking mentality because we were playing disciplined against teams who were absolutely poor in comparison to us, and it just meant that we weren't able to break them down. And I got a bit bored after a couple of 1-alls, 2-alls and 0-0s and just went, let's go for it now, and it's been brilliant since. It's been entertaining, we've had high scoring games, and because of our superior quality we've often come out on the right side of it. And obviously my main aim this year is to win as many of the domestic trophies as possible, to try and compete in the Irn Bru Cup, which is something I was really excited to manage in. And more importantly, as we get a header from 6 yard that's tipped over, good save by the Aberdeen keeper. More importantly, we want to attract potential suitors in a bigger league. It'd be really nice to finish with this season and then one more where we're at a foreign league and we've scored. It's a tap-in on the line. It looks like it just hit their player on the way. It didn't look like it was going in naturally, but it's Ryan Bruce who gets the own goal. McKellenny battling for it on the line at the back post, and we're 1-0 up against Aberdeen under-20s. Hopefully we can repeat our performance from the Hibernian game in this one. But as I was saying, we are looking to try and impress suitors this season. If we can get a gig in somewhere like Greece or a Denmark, somewhere, one of those mid-region leagues, it'd be a really good ending for this save. Just to have two completely different countries that we don't often get to manage in. Burns is in the box now and hits the post. We've been all over them so far. They haven't had a shot yet at all. But as I say, we've been playing here. It's a country we've never played in before. We've really enjoyed it. And obviously with this newly formed Irn Bru Cup, it's working really well for us. As McKellenny knocks it down for Burns, great back heel to Miss Kelly, but he's put it just wide. If we could go to another league that we've rarely managed in, or never managed in before even, it would be a really great finish to this save. And if we could go somewhere a bit different or a bit exotic, it would be quite nice to have, because it's something that you don't often get on the traditional route of the head coach. Normally we end up working up to League 1 or League 2 in England, getting a move to either Scotland or across to a mid-sized European league, maybe like a Denmark or a Norway, and then going straight to the top from there with a big giant club from one of the top 5 or 6 leagues. But in this one, we've obviously gone a different route, mainly because we've only been here 2 months. As McManus puts a 1-on-1 wide, it was such a great chance, but unfortunately he's wasted it. But as I say, McManus with a header again. The free kick came in, we're absolutely running riot, but we cannot get past their keeper, who's had a superb game so far. We've got the ball back on the left with Miss Kelly. I'm going to give up trying to tell you the story and have a chat with you. I'm just going to worry about the game now, because at half time it's 1-0, but we've been absolutely brilliant so far. And the whistle's just about to go, and we're going to be given a positive team talk this time. There we go then. They said it was a tepid first half, not from my viewing seat. I thought it looked fantastic. Again, we're going to tell them to guard against complacency. We don't want to give anything away. We've made this mistake a couple of times away from home before, particularly in the Europa League with HB before. Maribor, we almost did it, and we've done it a couple of times in the league against Cliftonville and Linfield as well. So I'm just being careful this time out, as Aberdeen have the early running in this half. McKellenny heads away well, but it's only to the edge of the box, but thankfully their shot's gone awry and it's a long way wide from 25 yards. Nearly 10 minutes into the second half, Aberdeen have the free kick. They're bringing it forward on the right. They've gone for a ridiculous effort from 35 yards, and it's a long way wide. And as we come up to the hour mark, we're almost completely comfortable with where we are. But Aberdeen have the chance now, and every time I say something like this, they score. It's 1-1. We've absolutely dominated this game, but Aberdeen have just got a few shots in this half, and they've managed to get on level terms, and we're going to make some subs. Danny Burke's had a really poor game after me talking him up. McMahon will come on for him. Harkin's been really poor recently. Miss Kelly will switch into the box-to-box role, and the experienced Cottoy will come on in the middle. And at left-back, we're going to bring Doherty on to Conlon. I know it went wrong last time we did that on camera, but he's such a poor player, Conlon. He's been really average and has struggled in recent weeks, and I'm quite looking forward to getting that youngster in if it does all go through in January, because he'll be a fantastic signing in addition to the first team. And there's nothing better when you're managing in a different country to raise a good team with young players from that nation. There's nothing more exciting than having homegrown prospects at your club, and to see your future heroes for the national team developing at your team and being given a chance in first team football. But here Aberdeen come again. We've got to be a bit worried now, because they are starting to dominate in the middle. We might go more attacking in a minute, and we'll be forced to hand if they go 2-1 up. What's John's done there? He nearly let it in. It was almost a pass back. 10 minutes to go, it's still 1-1, and we could be heading for either extra time or a replay. I don't exactly know how this competition works, to be honest. The long ball's headed away by Toll to Burns. Cottoy's got it deep lying. Can he get it in behind for one of the two? He's got it from McMahon. He's into the box 1-on-1. Can he finish? He's hit the bar. Oh, it's a fantastic effort. We slice through them on the counter-attack, but unfortunately we don't make the chance count. But we've got another attempt here with Cotoy in the middle. Gives the ball away this time, and now it's them coming forward. Miss Kelly gives it away in the middle of the pitch. McKay to Munro for Aberdeen as they bring it forward again. They've got it wide to Bruce, who scored the unfortunate own goal early doors. But now they've got so much time in the middle yet again. McKay's got it 25 yards out, and we need to be very careful here. They've got him one-on-one, and they've scored. Johns is beaten at his near post for the second time in the game, and it's absolutely atrocious goalkeeping from a keeper who's been very reliable this season. But he's not having his best day today, and we are going to go all-out attack now. I don't think I changed anything else. We'll take the disciplined off and go to attacking, and hopefully we can just create one more chance to get on level terms. This would be a huge hammer blow, and maybe show that we're not quite as good as I think we are, if we were to give away this competition so early on against an under-20s side. I know they've got one of the best youth developments in this game, in the country in this game, Aberdeen in Scotland, but it's really not an acceptable result for us. They've only got a couple of players that should have been causing us trouble, but we have lost. It's a very disappointing result for us. It will make this season shorter on camera because I won't have as many games to show you from this. We were brilliant in the first half, but it has gone wrong, and maybe the team talk just scared them too much. We've lost in the third round. We have got another 10,000 into the coffers, but it's not really a great deal given our Europa League money. McStravik's offer's been accepted, and the responsibilities have been discussed by the Director of Football as usual. £350 a week would be a bit of a bargain for him. We'll ignore the press conference, we'll do that off camera in a minute, and we'll be back in a second for an even more important league game against Cliftonville now, as we need to assert our dominance on this league. Right, we're back for the Cliftonville, the massive top of the table clash in the league. It's just 2 days following on from that disappointing Aberdeen defeat, and as a result we're going to have to make a few changes. But maybe not as many as we'd like to make due to restrictions in the squad and injuries. You can see we've still got 2 of our centre-halves out injured, which is about to be a problem, as you can see. We're just favourites for this game, so we're quite happy to be in that position. We've got Johns in goal again because we don't have another option in the first team. Kane and Conlon remain as fullbacks, and the other 2, the centre-halves, also say the same, despite neither of them being match fit and both struggling. McKellany and Toll, we haven't got any replacements, so they're going to have to play in this one. We've got Clark in for Dooley on the right, Burns keeps his place on the left. Cotoy comes in for Miss Kelly alongside Harkin, and McManus and McMahon, who's in for Danny Burke, are up front. Dooley and Burke are on the bench despite struggling for fitness. Macaulay, Doherty and McKnight make up the rest of the bench, as Miss Kelly gets a complete rest from the 16, McMurray the only fit man to miss out. Let's get into this game then. We need to get back to winning ways today. We're back to our attacking tactic, throwing all things at them, and hopefully they won't change to 4-3-3. They're starting with a 4-4-2, which is good, but we need to keep a close eye on their tactic change because I think I missed it for the first 5 minutes in the last game, and it ended up nearly costing us. We'll take some momentum in, a 1 day gap in between. Again, we've had this 3 or 4 times this season. It'll be my only criticism of the league this season is you don't actually get to play your strongest team that often, as they have a cracking effort from 25 yards and Chris Johns has to tip it wide very early on, and thankfully we've dealt with the corner well. I've just noticed here in the last couple of games we've got exactly the same problem here at home as we did at the Crabble with Dover last year. The corrugated iron terracing just gets rid of the top and the corner of the pitch. McManus is in and it's tipped wide, but we just missed that yard inside of the touchline. So this corner, for example, we won't see it until a second after it's left. But it doesn't hurt the action too much as Cotoy gets it in. It's headed away to Clark, into McManus in the box. Great flick down from McMahon, who couldn't quite get there first. And McManus is beaten to the next ball, but we've won an attacking throw-in. The highlight ends and we don't get to see it though. But now we've got one on the right with Lyndon Kane, the captain. Into Clark. Can he take his man on? He doesn't. He plays McManus in into McMahon. And Kevin McMahon is cementing his place as a good player for us. And he scored for the second time in 3 starts. A fantastic finish. 6 yards out, the poacher's finish that's so important in this game, and he is starting to show why he might be the man over the season over Danny Burke. He is rated significantly better. We'll still give Burke the youngster plenty of opportunities as a homegrown player, but we do need some experience in there. And I know McMahon's only a year older, but he's played a few more games as he hits the bar with a fantastic overhit cross from the left-hand side. Caught the keeper out completely, and luckily they get away with it. But it's headed away, and they're going to come on the counter-attack now. Donnelly, who we've already mentioned is too good for this league up front, the former Swansea player, gets it wide to the right-hand side, and this is where they always get us on the counter. But Conlon heads away, and Harkin gets it further out of danger. But they're coming straight back at us again down the right. A lovely ball in towards Donnelly, which McKellany heads away, and I worry about their fitness towards the end if we end up playing against a front three. But we're 10 minutes to half time. We look relatively comfortable. And I said this last last time when we let in a goal, and it's going to happen again, I can tell. They've got it on the edge to go on, and it nearly did. Chris Johns denies them and denies me getting egg on my face for the second time in this episode. But the corner's still coming in and the danger isn't gone yet, but Harkin does clear it away this time. Still 1-0 just about. Donnelly bringing it forward again. Conlon heads away to Harkin. Can we get them on the counter? McMahon holds it up brilliantly. He's got McManus in behind. Can he make the most of it? He tries to shoot early despite having the superior pace, and he puts it a long way wide. We've actually been outplayed in terms of shots and possession. We haven't created too much, but we have been more clinical so far, as Clark gets it in behind, but there's no one there, and they can clear it down the left again, but they're trying to play around at the back, which is a bit risky, and the long ball up, Donnelly holds up brilliantly, and they're all over us with the play in the middle here, and we're going to have to make sure we're very disciplined here, as they bring it forward with Donnelly again holding the ball up, into Gorn on the centre forward roll. McCalmont's got it in the centre circle, he goes wide, but Conlon intercepts. McMahon can bring it away, lovely ball into McManus, surely this time he can finish. He can't, it's a great save again. He just took it a little bit too wide there, and we're forced to stay at 1-0. But we have got a corner with Burns in towards McKelleney, who loses out. Burns again not strong enough in the challenge, and it's away from Cliftonville, and again they look to threaten us on the counter. How do we deal with these counter attacks? They look fantastic on the break, and that's why they're competing at the top of this league. As we said before, if they win their game in hand, they go within 2 points of us, which means it's so important we win this game to get ourselves clear. Clark wins it to Harkin. Big long ball to McManus, and it tends to work better when he's the one delivering into McMahon, and the shot's blocked by the centre half. Either side by a yard, and we were 2-0 up there, but coming up to the break it's still going to be 1-0. There we go then, the first half is over. We lead 1-0, but it's been a very even game, and they've looked very threatening on the counter-attack against us. We've learned from last time, we're going to stick to our assistant manager's recommended team talk. Encourage them to prove a point. We don't want to be risking the complacency again, especially after the last game. McKelleney's got it from the centre circle, but the ball is cleared and the highlight ends. We've got a free kick out wide on the right. Burns with a good delivery to McKelleney, and it's saved again by Neeson. You have to say, although they've had as much of the game and as many opportunities as us, we have had the better chances. We forced a few really good saves out of the keeper, and they've been really strong at the back, to be fair to them. It's still 1-0, and we'll take that towards the end, especially now Donnelly's had to go off, and they've stayed 4-4-2 for now, which is a big bonus for us. But they're in behind again. It's too easy. Toll clears away, but only to the edge of the box, and luckily they've put it a long way wide. But we did say our big worry was fitness in the centre halves. We haven't got replacements for them, and we're really starting to struggle as a result. Toll heads away brilliantly again, but he's really struggling now, the kid. He's only a backup anyway. They've got the ball in from the left, and Chris Johns gathers comfortably, but we are looking a little bit more nervous at the back now. Johns has got the goal kick with a big long clearance, headed away, and they've brought it forward again. There's no one up there. We're not holding it up. It's just coming straight back at us. And we've got to keep our 2 banks of 4 now. Kane heads away. Clark brings it down. Can we get a sucker punch on the break? Of course we can't. It's intercepted and brought forward. And again, they've got so much space. Where's the left back going there? And from the edge of the box, they've put it narrowly wide. But we are living extremely dangerously. And Cotoy needs to get off because he's been having a shocker. Macaulay's the closest candidate to come on for him. Not the best in central midfield, but I don't have options otherwise. Clark will come off on the right. He's coming for Dooley and been appalling again. And we'll leave the last sub for 5 more minutes while I decide whether it'll be the Captain Kane or McManus the striker, with Danny Burke sitting waiting in the wings, a more natural target man that could hold the ball up for us. We'll think about it. We need to try and get McKnight game time. He is unhappy, but it's so difficult when we've got so many close games. The long ball up's headed away by McKelleney. Dooley on the right can hopefully make a difference for us. Early cross in, and Neeson can deal with that comfortably. We've really got to sort out our crossing. It's not particularly good. And Neeson will clear it long for Cliftonville. They've got straight in behind from it. McKelleney intercepts, but it was so easy there, and they've shot from 25 yards again, but it's wide. We are going to take off McManus now. McMahon goes into his more natural role as the advance forward with Burke in behind as the target man, and hopefully we can hold it up a bit better with 2 bigger men up there now. But it's all Cliftonville. Again, a shot from the edge of box, which is high and wide. But they're just having chance after chance. They're dominating the territory, they're dominating the possession, and we don't look like we can get out of our own half at the minute. We're going to drop back to standard just for the moment. After this highlight, once I've seen what's happened, Dooley into Burns on the left, into Toll. It's free header at the back, and he's knocked it down brilliantly for Burke. And Burke puts it away for 2-0, and we can suddenly stop worrying unless they move to a 4-3-3. But a fantastic substitution. Burke scores the goal and it was a great knockdown. And you can see from the right there, they've gone 4-3-3. We're going to go more disciplined, and in fact we're going to drop all the way to counter-attack. I don't want to get caught out by this, and we'll stick to position so we're not caught out of our shape. We're coming into our 4 minutes of stoppage time. McKellenny with a free kick wide to Dooley. We'd love to put a bit of gloss on it with McMahon, and we have a cross from the sub Dooley, who would always be first choice if fully fit, and McMahon is cementing his place here, and maybe this moving forward can be a strike partnership as well. I'd often chopped and changed with McMahon and Burt being the two to switch. As they've gone in and put it into the side netting, they really should have scored there. But I've often played one of the big men with McManus, but maybe I can swap it round a bit. And it might even make McManus a better option on the right instead of Clark when we've got Dooley out tired. It's 3-0, it's a comfortable win, and hopefully that puts us well on course to win the domestic treble. I haven't seen the Irish Cup yet, so it could depend on the draw in that, but hopefully in the other two we can win. We're doing well in the Bet McLean Cup, and we're top here by 5 points, even with all the games in hand to be played. Let's have a quick look at what they've said about the game. No more injuries, thankfully. We'll ignore the press conference for now, and we'll praise McMahon because he was absolutely fantastic in that one. And I think that's now 4 in 5 in the league for him. Let's just have a quick look. It is, it's 4 in 4 even. He's even better than that. It's just that it's come in 2-2s, and there's 2 games he hasn't scored in. And he didn't score in his Irn Bru Cup game. But he's a fantastic player and he's going to do well for us. If we quickly go and have a look at the schedule, we'll have a look at when we'll next be back. There are 2 big games coming up, but after the long game last time, I'm not too worried about showing them on camera. They haven't looked as good. We're going to come back around the time of that Irish Cup 5th round game, and depending on who else is up there in the league, we'll play one of the league games around that region as well. But that will be all from this episode. A big thanks for watching as always. If you did enjoy the video, please put a thumbs up on it. Subscribe to the channel for more videos from this series, The Head Coach, every Monday to Thursday at 4:30 PM, as well as FIFA 19 content every Friday on the channel too. A massive thanks to everyone for following this series, and we'll see you next time.